Today, we turn Mountain Dew into wine. We're going to do this by adding champagne yeast to non-carbonated Mountain Dew. It's going to take some time, but it'll definitely be worth it. The very first step is to pour all of this into 1-gallon glass jars. You can go bigger if you really want to make a lot of Mountain Dew, but we need to put them in the jars and let them sit for a little while. If you don't let these completely go dead from the carbonation, it will kill the yeast and you won't be able to make this alcoholic. I let it sit for 3 days in these jars. All of these supplies have been bought from a local brewing supply store, including the glass. What you're seeing now is CO2 off-venting through airlocks. These airlocks make it so that you've got a completely sealed container that isn't exposed to bacteria. Now enters the yeast. I put this water at around 100 degrees to pre-activate the yeast, and I'm severely overdoing the amount of yeast for this because there are things inside of soda that will harm yeast. Sodium benzoate and various other things. 1 package is good for 5 gallons of wine. We're putting in 1 package per gallon of soda. After it's been activated, you can see that it kind of changes here and we are ready to dump it in. Right now, this video is exposing that I made a mistake and did not let the code red sit long enough. That's why it's still fizzing up whenever I added the yeast. This is also why the alcohol content was lesser in this particular batch. After letting this sit for a full month, I decided it was time to check the gravity. The gravity is how you tell how alcoholic something is. You need an original sample of the Mountain Dew, which you can just let it unfizz from any normal Mountain Dew can. Then you compare it to a sample of the brewed Mountain Dew, which should be plenty fermented by now. After letting it sit for a little longer than this video shows, I was able to calculate that we're at about 4.5% alcohol. Because we had to overdo it with the yeast on these particular jars, I decided to transfer them into some better looking jars that are easier for storage. So here we are pumping all of this out by hand. Now we have these beautiful bottles of Mountain Dew wine, and you can tell that they've clouded up a lot. In the jars that I used to ferment, there was a lot of stuff left at the bottom, and that's why we really needed to pump it out. In this little side-by-side, you can see how much more effective the champagne yeast was in the green Mountain Dew than the code red.
We are here to celebrate a classier way for gamers to get drunk. And a month we've waited to see if our Mountain Dew has turned into something glorious or if this is all just folly. So, we're going to try our classic Mountain Dew and we're going to try our red. I'm going to start with the classic. You can definitely smell the alcohol. It's very much like my childhood, kind of limey, kind of sugary. That oddly still tastes like slightly less sweet Mountain Dew. The alcohol content in this is about that of a normal beer, maybe a little bit more. And that actually is not bad at all. And the thing is, I waited a little bit too soon, so it's not as carbonated as it will be tomorrow whenever I do this, so it'll even be more like drinking a normal soda. That is not bad. The Code Red definitely has a more not cherry smell, that is for sure. There's something different here, and I'm not sure. That aroma does not bode well for what's about to happen. Let's go. Better tasting than I thought it would be, but needs that carbonation that's going to come with another day of sitting in the fridge. It'll be a little bit more fizzy, it'll be a little bit better. It might take a couple days for the champagne yeast that's left after I pumped out all the other yeast to really build these back up. We have to be careful so the jars don't explode. But overall, I would say that for the alcohol content that's in these, it's really not bad. And when you figure after the costs of brewing equipment, you're looking at $3 or $4 a gallon, you're really not doing too bad. This ends our Mountain Dew experiment. If you have something else you'd like to see me ferment, try, whatever, please leave a comment. Or if you think I'm absolutely insane, leave a comment too, but be sure to leave a like and a subscribe.